All right, let's dive into the story of one of the most powerful and maybe one of the most misunderstood technologies ever created, artificial intelligence. It's a wild journey that starts with a single, simple question and ends up, well, it's basically a global revolution that we're all living through. So let's get right into it.
It all boils down to this one question. Can a machine actually think? The brilliant mathematician Alan Turing was the one who really kicked things off by asking this back in 1950. And it's kind of crazy to think that this simple idea launched an entire scientific field and put us on the incredible path we're on today.
So where did this idea even come from? Well, the dream of making artificial beings, that's ancient. You see it in myths and stories going back thousands of years. But the actual scientific quest to build them, that's much, much younger.
Yeah, that real, tangible journey is surprisingly recent. The whole quest to build thinking machines didn't really get going until the 1950s. It was part of this post-war boom where there was all this new technology and a ton of bold, new ideas flying around.
And what's really amazing about this early era is just the sheer, unfiltered optimism. So in 1950, Turing gives us the Turing test, a way to see if we've succeeded. Then just 6 years later, at the legendary Dartmouth Conference, the field gets its official name, artificial intelligence. And you have to understand, these pioneers, they genuinely believed that human-level AI was just a few years away. They were very wrong, as it turns out, but the dream was officially born.
But that early optimism, well, it ran smack into a wall of harsh reality. The dream was one thing, but the technical hurdles were enormous, and that led to a long period of struggle and skepticism that we now call the AI winter. For a good couple of decades, the whole field just went cold. Why? Well, two main reasons. First, the computers back then were incredibly limited and super expensive. And second, there just wasn't enough data to feed these early systems. The promises they made seemed impossible, so the funding and the public interest, it just dried up.
But here's the thing, even during those winter years, the work didn't totally stop, it just got quieter. Researchers started focusing on much narrower goals, and they developed these things called expert systems. You can think of them as early AI that didn't try to be human. Instead, they just tried to mimic an expert in one specific thing, like a doctor diagnosing a disease or an engineer solving a problem. And this quiet work laid some really important groundwork for everything that was about to happen next.
And what came next? Well, it changed absolutely everything. The field needed a totally new way of thinking, a real breakthrough that would finally unlock the potential that those early pioneers had dreamed about all those years ago. This was the game-changing question. The whole approach had to flip. Instead of trying to sit there and manually program a machine with every single rule for every single thing, what if we could build systems that could just learn on their own by looking at data? And that one idea gave birth to the engine of all modern AI, machine learning. Seriously, this is the core concept that powers pretty much every AI you interact with today. It's all about creating algorithms that can sift through huge amounts of information and teach themselves without us holding their hand. And if you had to pick a single year when it all just exploded, it's 2012. A new type of AI, called a neural network, was entered into this big competition for recognizing images. This thing, called AlexNet, didn't just win, it completely demolished all the previous records. It was this jaw-dropping moment that proved, without a doubt, that this learning on your own thing didn't just work, it worked spectacularly well. After that, the floodgates just burst open. This breakthrough meant AI could suddenly do all these things that used to be exclusively human. All of a sudden, it could see objects in photos, it could hear and understand speech, it could translate languages, and the big one, it could learn and get better and better at a truly staggering speed. The AI revolution was officially on. And that brings us right up to today. The progress since that 2012 moment has been faster than pretty much any technology in history. It's moving so fast, and it's completely reshaping our entire world. I mean, just think about it. AI isn't some futuristic sci-fi concept anymore. It is right here, right now. It's in the cars that are learning to drive themselves. It's in the generative AI that can write an email or create a work of art. It's in medical systems that can spot diseases on a scan, sometimes even earlier than a human doctor can. It's everywhere.
So the really crucial point is that AI has evolved way beyond just being a tool. It's now an active partner, a collaborator in creative fields, a powerful engine for scientific discovery, and yeah, a massive global industry worth trillions of dollars.
Okay, but with all of this immense power comes immense complexity and risk.
Every big technological leap forces us to deal with new challenges, and AI might be the biggest example of this double-edged sword we've ever seen. And this brings us to the huge dilemma we're facing right now. On one hand, the promise is almost utopian, right? Curing diseases, solving huge scientific problems, unlocking new kinds of creativity. But on the other hand, the dangers are very, very real. We're talking about widespread job automation, a flood of fake information, and major worries about things like data privacy and making sure these systems don't become biased.
And all of this has led to this big global realization. Building and using AI isn't just a technical challenge anymore. It's a social and ethical one. We all have this collective responsibility to make sure these incredibly powerful systems are safe, fair, transparent, and are actually used to benefit all of humanity.
So where does the story go from here? As we look ahead, the one thing we know for sure is that the pace of change is only getting faster, and it's raising some of the biggest questions our species has ever had to face.
I mean, the things researchers are working on right now are just mind-blowing. Imagine entire cities designed by an AI for perfect efficiency, or an AI-powered doctor in every home on the planet, or an education system that is perfectly personalized for every single student. This isn't a dream anymore. This is the future we are actively building.
And then there's the ultimate goal for a lot of people in this field: artificial general intelligence, or AGI. Now, this isn't the specialized AI we have today that's good at just one thing. This is the hypothetical idea of an AI that can think, reason, and learn across any field, just like a person can. The hunt for AGI, that's the next great frontier.
But as we chase that frontier, it is so important to remember this. The future isn't set in stone. It's not determined by the technology itself. The way the AI story ends up is going to be determined by the decisions we all make right now, the rules we set, the ethics we demand, and the future we choose to build with it.
The truth is, the story is just getting started, and we're living through its most critical chapter. We are the ones writing what comes next. So the real question isn't what will AI do, it's what will we choose to do with it.